Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Search Podcast. I'm Elliott Manning, Managing Director of Recruitment UK and US. Today, I'm joined by Ben Broughton, who I'll let you take away your introduction.
Yeah, hi, my name is Ben Broughton. I'm the founding director of Primis. We are a technology recruitment firm focused across, we've got 4 offices, London, Birmingham, New York and Austin. Technology recruitment with a massive focus emphasis around bringing D&I into the heart of people's businesses when we help them recruit. So that's my background.
Fantastic. Perfect. So, Ben, you and I have worked together for many years now, for different purposes across the States and the UK itself. But I guess, from your perspective, you set up the business. Why was the US such a big thing for you?
Yeah, I love the US market, Elliot, if I'm honest with you. I think it's very much, I think the stats are there, they kind of speak for themselves in terms of there's the same number of recruitment companies in the US as there are in the UK, which when you think about the size of the US, it's just absolutely kind of mental stats. Average invoice values are, we're averaging kind of $29,000, $30,000 per invoice. Everyone has 2 weeks notice, no matter what level you're placing at, whether it's C-suite, whether it's 2 weeks, it's quick turnaround, and people pay on time. And it's a relationship culture in the US. Once the client, you prove yourselves, and you build a strong relationship. The clients will take you on the journey with them. So for me, it's a massive growth part of our business, and it's something really enjoyable.
Fantastic. In terms of market, Ben, I know obviously every business in technology recruitment or any sector of recruitment is different. How do you select the kind of market focus over there? I know that you've got your own knowledge from previous, but do you have a tactic behind it, strategy? Like what gives you the direction to select the product you want to recruit for over there?
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, we do obviously, we're cross-sector, across tech, but I think in the US specifically, we are quite vertical market specific. So we'd be looking kind of product and then the kind of core technology markets. Reason being, that's where the client demand is coming from our client base. So obviously it's matching to that side. But I think looking at, for us, the kind of 3 main areas: product, data, and then your development stuff. So obviously .NET, PHP have been our kind of 3 core markets that we focused on. Reason being, they're the ones that clients struggle to get hold of. There's a very strong direct recruitment culture in the US. So some companies are similar to the UK, I suppose, but we seem to see it more in the US, where companies try and do everything directly. So it's really looking at the niches where the internal teams are struggling to find really good quality talent and then focusing on those areas. And I think obviously we're in Austin and New York. We do seem to see a kind of a bit of a difference in, whatever state you're based in, what the kind of key demands are. So we have, we do market research. We look at, what are the kind of progressive growing areas, obviously, where are the big salaries, so you can get the big fees coming through. So definitely, if you are looking to launch in the US, do your research beforehand in terms of where the demand is going to be. We certainly did before we launched, and it's paid dividends for us.
A lot of businesses obviously have to take a lot of time to think about where they want to be located. What made you choose New York and Austin?
Yeah, definitely. So if you have knowledge of those areas, then definitely that plays to your strength. But I think the 2 kind of key factors that I would look at is, first of all, obviously hiring good talent. So looking at markets where you can get good recruiters in the door. For us, we've found, for example, the cost of hiring good recruiters in New York is very high, whereas Austin's slightly lower. I think some of the coming out and these kind of areas slightly less cost for a business perspective, business owner to hire good talent. And the second area is just looking at where your competition, where the growth markets are coming from. And I think for us, the Miamis, Austins, New York, Tampas, these areas are real kind of technology growth hubs at the moment. I think the San Frans are almost kind of not dying off. San Fran's always going to be, a great market, but it's highly competitive. To get good talent to work for your businesses in those markets is expensive. Plus, like rentals, everything like that in those kind of areas is very expensive. So, do your market research. And again, like if you're a business owner, personal preference, like where do you want to have a base in the US? Because you're going to spend a lot of time over there. You want to find an area that you like to work and like to go and spend some time in.
Absolutely. In terms of the offering in the States, do you think it matters whether you're just going over there to do your contingent recruitment with your ad hoc placements over there? Do you think it's better to have a solution selling offering to your clients with a different approach to it? Because obviously with you, you guys at Primis, you've got that, so what do you think is going to be more attractive?
Yeah, I think it's really important to make sure you're productizing your offering in the US. We get a really good response off that. So we've obviously got kind of 3 key offerings that we go to our clients with. The first one is contingent, which, if I'm honest with you, it's kind of like 20% of our business in the US is contingent. Obviously, retained is our number 1 option whenever we approach a client. We always go in with the retained option, and at the time we get a good result off the back of it. And then we also have quite a lot of kind of talent as a service that we sell into the US. So embedding our team within the client's business, offering their services on, pay by time rather than results, which again has proven kind of really, really successful for us. So again, very different to the UK market and how you operate. A lot of the stuff we do in the US is on a retained basis because there's a lot more of an appetite for it, really.
Do you think the competition's far more great? Is it a buoyant market? Is it difficult to win business over in the US, especially on the, talent as a service offerings and, against maybe doing contingent?
Yeah, our go-to-market strategy in the US has always been, and I stand by this, everybody I speak to, every time we launch in a new city or a new venue, we do some launch events, we get some big people around the table, big names. We market map who the companies are that we want to attack, we want to work with, and get that face-to-face relationship with them, build a relationship, build some trust. Yeah. It's how we've developed, 90% of our client relationships in the US have come off the back of doing those kind of events. And getting in front of people. Once you've got that trust, you've got that relationship, it's then really easy to maximize the client and then sell your product, basically. So going to them and say, look, obviously we've maybe done a couple of contingency deals, we've shown you our value now let's look at a product offering. So that's been the kind of roadmap that we've gone on when it comes to new business and winning clients over in the US. But get a lot of, once you've really proven yourself with the client in the US, I just feel it's really easy to open that relationship up versus maybe some clients in the UK where there's a lot more competition from other recruitment agencies.
Fine. Who does all the selling in the business? The recruiters, is it the 360 model? Is it like a split 180 of people do sales against the delivery? Because everyone's got different approaches to this these days. So what do you guys do that you find successful?
Yeah, definitely. And look, I'm very open-minded. I think there's a lot of people that say, the 360 model is the only way, or the 180 model is the only way. But I'm very open-minded. It's like, I've seen, I'm obviously friends with a lot of people in the recruitment industry and seen both models work incredibly well. For me personally, our teams, we've got four in New York at the moment and 4 in Austin. So we're very much still 360. But my view, longer term, absolutely to embed. We have it in the UK. We have a delivery team and a kind of 180 model, and it would very much be to have that model as an offering in the US as well. I think the recruitment market's really changed now. It used to be 10 years ago, if everyone did 360. If you couldn't do 360, you were a rubbish consultant. Get out the door. Here's your P45 kind of thing. And I think that mentality's really changed now, whereby some people are great at resourcing. Some people are great at BD. If you can't do everything, that doesn't necessarily mean you can't do well in recruitment. So yeah, it's just about making sure you're playing to your team's strengths and getting the best results out of the people that you've got with
absolutely
business. But yeah, for me, currently 360, but definitely looking to move to 180 in the future in the US.
With your experience having worked the US market for a long time now, how do you differentiate the good jobs that come through from the business development that you guys operate and do against knowing which are because basically what I've heard from a lot of businesses is that it's easy to pick up jobs in the States. It's easy to get business. However, 1 out of 10 might be actually really good against, the other 9 that everyone's working on. How do you differentiate that?
Totally. And a really good question. It was probably my biggest learn when I first started in the US market, probably 5-6 years ago, in a previous life. But you can waste so much time in the US because you get a lot of kind of people say yes very easily. So yeah, go work on this and on a contingent basis, whatever, and show us what you've got. And you can send 20 CVs to a client and they'll even interview 10 of the people and then you'll never get the offers through. So for us, what's really important is, even if we're doing it's not a full retainer, so 50-50 or a third, we do get that partnership payment. So getting that initial payment up from the client, whether it be $1,000, $2,000, but just some commitment from them that they are serious to hire. And for us, if we're not doing proper retain, then that's what we really will look at, because it's just testing that commitment from the client. And also, if you're doing full commitment, having the balls, excuse my friend, but to say no and to walk away. If you've been working on a vacancy for 4 or 5 weeks and you're just not getting anywhere, having that strength of character to say, I'm just going to walk away from this now. My time is better spent elsewhere. Because definitely, you can spend a lot of time on some clients where you're just getting no results out the back of it, basically.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that as well with fees as well. People being offered to work on jobs at 15, 20% when they can go and get a job, and a client paying 25, 30%. And it's having that, again, that courage to say, do you know what, we're better than that, and walking away from it. And a lot of people that try and operate and build the US market are taking on everything at the minute that, to try and make it work, but they're just wasting their own time,
Absolutely.
to their standards that they would have over here.
Yeah, absolutely. Be selective with who you work with, especially, I think we're in December now, but still a very, very strong market. There's still a lot of companies out there hiring. And I think it's be selective with the clients you want to work with, because you want good businesses so that when you do finally get the offer through, your candidates are saying yes and accepting the offer. So yeah, definitely be selective and don't be afraid to walk away from business if it's not making revenue.
Have you seen any noticeable changes in the recruitment market over there in the 5-10 years you've been working in it?
Yeah, I think the last 2 years have just been insane. I've never seen a recruitment market like it. I think from what we're seeing now is it's kind of normalizing a little bit, going back to how it was kind of pre-COVID. So definitely the art of business development is definitely needed now. Whereas previously you could make 5 phone calls and pick up 5 jobs. It was literally that crazy. But I think now it's very much going back to how it was. So we're just massively kind of upskilling our team now, making sure with that art of business development, how to go and build relationships, win new clients, is really kind of, one of the most important skills to have in recruitment right now, I think.
Fun. And I'm just quick firing loads of questions at you, Ben.
I love it, mate. I love it.
What's your opinion on having someone from the UK over to the US, having boots on the ground that have been working with you physically here, against hiring someone in the US that you may not have ever met, that's kind of taking on that leadership?
Yeah, definitely. I think, I've had good and bad examples of both in my career. I think for us, one of the things that I've found is US recruiters that have worked for US firms, the US firms do it very differently to how we do it. And that's something we've definitely found. People have different definitions of, what is a 360 consultant from US businesses to UK businesses. So from that side of things, we've, it's a real kind of, when you bring in somebody who's never worked for a UK recruiter before in the US, there's a big kind of education and shift in terms of how we operate as UK recruiters. Taking people from the UK over to the US, fantastic results in my career. I've seen some good recruiters in the UK becoming exceptional recruiters in the US, and really have incredible results. I think the kind of the numbers that people talk about, if you're doing kind of 250 a year in the UK, you can do 800, 900 in the US. And I think that's pretty much spot on, because if your average invoice in the UK is 8K and you're doing 3 or 4 placements a month, you take that to the US in the same numbers, you're billing 800, 900K a year. So yeah, definitely big opportunities. Absolutely.
Fine. And I guess the last question I had for you is, what's the plans for you with the business? Where do you see it going? For anyone listening in that's interested in moving to the States, that might be interested in working for you, I guess, what do you look for? What do you want to see, from any individual that applies to come to your business?
Absolutely. This is what I do, my kind of Dr. Evil, we're trying to take over the world phrase. But yeah, for us, it's growth, Elliott. Obviously we're looking to build out our Austin, New York sites at the moment. So we're currently 38 heads across the UK and the US. We're going to get to 79 by the end of next year. We've obviously got our E2 kind of sponsorship now. So we're sending all, as many people over from the UK as we can. So yeah, if you're in the UK right now, I think, what the visa kind of statistics, looking at kind of 2 years recruitment experience, proven track record in the recruitment industry will secure you a visa right now over to the US. If I was a 24, 25-year-old recruiter, I would be banging on the door to get to the US straight away. I think it's just a no-brainer in terms of the opportunities over there. So yeah, there's never been a better time really to make that move. So for us, yeah, we're looking at obviously growth across our existing 2 sites and then looking at 1 further site in the US. But yeah, very, very exciting times for us right now.
Fantastic. And any last words of wisdom for any of those looking to expand and having thoughts about getting, you know, their business to the US in 2023?
Yeah, definitely. I think first of all, get yourself over there. You know, take a trip out and get a feel for the city that you're looking to move over to. Speak to people that have done it. You know, get their advice. Learn the mistakes that they've learned rather than learning them yourselves. Obviously, to you know, for me, you can definitely run a US entity from the UK, but I think it gets to a certain point when you want to expand it. You know, you want to take it to the next level. You've got to have boots on the ground to make sure you're building those relationships, you're networking, you're getting out in front of your clients. Obviously, you know, you've got to demonstrate roughly kind of 60 to 70K's worth of investment in your US entity before you can get your visas and your permits to move over. So, you know, proper business plan separate to your kind of UK business to map that out and make sure you've got that investment sorted into hand. And then just choose the right place, you know, choose the right area. In the US, it's massive, right? The US, and you think about it compared to the UK, there's so much opportunity out there. There's so much revenue can be made, but just have a proper plan in place and speak to people who've done it and learn from their mistakes would be my best advice.
Absolutely. Do you know, I've spoken to so many people that are like, you know, I want to set up in the US. I'm like, have you ever been? They're like, yeah, I went on a honeymoon or went on a holiday there. I was like, yeah, a little bit different. You need to try and get yourself out there and actually go and
Very
feel
different.
working there
Yeah.
and do it properly because it's so different. But no, look, you know, everything you've said, I agree. And I would, you know, massively suggest to anyone that's trying to get themselves over there to do exactly the same thing. And especially with what you've achieved and the success you've had and having, you know, definitely take advice from Ben on board. But look, really appreciate your time for joining me on the search. If anyone's got any questions, reach out to Ben, let him know what you need. Feel free to reach out to me. I'll put an introduction in place for you. But once again, thank you so much and love to see what you're doing and look forward to next year with you.
Thanks, Elliot. Have a great Christmas, buddy.
You too.
See you.